Hello, it's 10 p.m. Welcome to the news on TV3. We are also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa. Sorry. First, let's take a look at the news highlights for the day. Calls for the establishment of a military post in Sankore in the Brongahafo region has heightened following disturbances in the area. Chiefs and opinion leaders in the Isnafo North and South districts of Brongahafo say this will curb recurrence of politically motivated violence in the area. Residents of Akpafu, Odome and environs have now resorted to volunteering their time to fill craters on the Hohwe-Jasikan section of the Eastern Corridor Road to make it more accessible. Led by the assemblyman for the area, John Obimpe, the people gathered stones and concrete to strengthen the road surface for easy passage whilst assisting to push vehicles stuck in the mud. Lack of infrastructure at Northern Star Senior High School at Wa in the Upper West region is affecting teaching and learning in the school. The school is yet to undertake major infrastructure projects from government since it was absorbed in 2016. On the international front, a man has been rescued from a ferry that capsized on Lake Victoria, Tanzania, 2 days after it overturned with the loss of at least 207 lives. The engineer, named locally as Alphonse Charahani, reportedly survived in an air pocket inside the MV Nyerere ferry, which capsized near Ukara Island on its way from Bugora on Thursday. He's said to be in a serious condition. Let's do the big one. Now, a nationwide fuel shortage looms as tanker drivers nationwide have threatened to withdraw their services starting Monday, September 24, until the National Petroleum Authority addresses their concerns. The about 4,000 petroleum tanker drivers for some months raised concerns relating to their working conditions and welfare. According to them, the NPA's failure to ensure full implementation of the Petroleum Producers Transportation Delivery Retail and Loss Control Manual formulated by the Energy Commission in 2004 will prevent them from working. So let's speak with George Tay Nyaono, who is chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my dear.
So apart from the implementation of the Petroleum Producers Transportation Delivery Retail and Loss Control Manual, what other concerns do your members have that is warranting a nationwide strike?
I think your line is breaking. I can't get you proper.
So I was asking, apart from the implementation of the Petroleum Producers Transportation Delivery Retail, the money you're talking about, what other concerns do your members have that is warranting a nationwide strike?
Okay, thank you so much. I think basically on underground shortages at the various filling stations, which NPA as a regulator is the best authority to stop all those things. And the underground shortages is taking away our salary, because the underground shortages, which are declared by the dealers, have been deducted from transporters' salary, okay, claims. Then after the dot, the transporters also refuse to pay us our salary. And the reason why we are calling for this strike an agreement, MOU, has been signed between tanker owners and tanker drivers and NPA, which NPA as a regulator is the best authority to implement driver salary fully since last year, 2017. And this thing has been going on, which we sent a petition to the president, and the president called the Trampoli from NPA, called Honorable Minister, and gave them directives that they should see to tanker drivers to address our issues very well. Since then, maybe as we talk to you today, before they start addressing the issue, I don't know. And you see, we are surprised to hear that, because when petroleum product is imported into the country, it is tanker drivers. They are the first people to cast the product from depot to the destination. NPA have a share margin. The DDCs have their margin. Dealers have their margin. OMCs have their margin. Tanker owners have their margin. But the tanker drivers who cast the product from depot across the country, they are left out totally, and nobody is caring. Nobody is even ready to attend because we are drivers. We are drivers. And in fact, as I speak to you now, most of tanker drivers cannot pay their children's school fees. We can't pay for our rent. We can't pay for our light bills. We can't pay for water bills. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
So what will make you rescind your decision? Briefly.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
So, I was asking, what will make you rescind your decision? Briefly.
In fact, I don't know where I'm sitting. I can hear you proper.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. We'll surely come back to you and in our subsequent bulletins. I was speaking with George Tay Nyaono, who is chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, and he was telling us about some issues they have with the National Petroleum Authority. Let's do some other stories now. And government's determination to award a contract to StarTimes for the expansion of digital TV space has generated a lot of debate in the media space, with the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, GIBA, at the forefront. Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram constituency, Sam George, who is on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Communication, also waded into the conversation, insisting that government's decision is only to safeguard billions of dollars in loans from China. After engaging the communications minister and her deputy on 3 occasions on different media platforms, the Ningo Pram legislature says he is still worried. He's joining me on the phone line, so we get to speak a lot more on this. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining me.
Good evening to you, Grace, and good evening to our viewers.
Yeah, so you seem to suggest that on all 3 occasions, the minister and her deputy could not allay your fears. What really is the case now?
Well, this week I have engaged with the minister and her deputy on at least 3 different platforms.
Yeah.
Clearly, they've had the opportunity to allay the fears of not just myself, but majority of Ghanaians who are getting to appreciate the issues, and GIBA especially. Unfortunately, what the minister and her team have basically said is that we are making noise. They have not had the patience of time to explain what their position is, because, well, their position is untenable. They're basically taking a contract which has been completed by a Ghanaian company and re-awarded the same contract effectively, or an expansion of that contract, which is not necessary at this point in time, to a Chinese company. Your Ministry of Communications now appears to be the extension of the Chinese embassy in Ghana. where the minister is becoming a spokesperson for a Chinese company and explaining that she needs to award the contract. Today, on another platform, she was forthright and said the contract for expansion had nothing, basically, to do with the need for an expansion, but basically the need for government to access more loans from China. And so they needed to sign this contract to enable them sign new loans with China. I don't think the Ghanaian people deserve this. I don't think that a president who said he believes in Ghana when he was campaigning, a president who said Ghana beyond aid, is going to sit back and allow us to contract a loan from China that we don't need and basically saddle unborn generations with loans and repayments of those loans when it is easily avoidable. One thing I want to point out here is that in 2012, this same company offered us $95 million for a project that had not been started, a project that we were now going to start. Midway of the construction of this project, when their contract was terminated and KNET was working on it in 2016, we had completed phase 1 and phase 2 of the project. KNET was about to start phase 3. Star Times came back to the NDC Ministry of Communications and offered us $95 million again for phase 3 and what they called an expansion. We asked them a simple question. When you were going to do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and the full expansion that you are talking about, you told us it would cost us $95 million. We have done phase 1 and phase 2. You are coming to do only phase 3 and expansion, and it's still costing us $95 million. Today, in 2018, we have completed phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Expansion is way cheaper than original construction because the mast cell sites have already been built. All the 42 cell sites have been built. With technology like co-location, the cost of expansion is very minimal. But this ministry is again telling us we need $95 million. The same $95 million that was needed for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and expansion for only expansion. Is this value for money?
So what will convince you that all that the minister and her deputies are saying hasn't got any form of shadiness in it? What will convince you?
What will convince me is when the minister begins to address the issues we are raising. The minister says the issues we are raising are xenophobia. The minister says the issues we are raising are noise. She's not taking her time. She's not calmed down to listen to the wisdom in the questions we are answering. She's setting her own questions and answering them. One of the questions I'm asking the minister is, why is it that this government, that in opposition, said one of the major failings of the NDC government was sole sourcing? Why are they sole sourcing the expansion of this project? Can the minister tell us why they are signing a sole sourced contract, or they have signed a sole source contract on the 5th of April 2018 with Star Times for the expansion of the project? Why did they do sole sourcing? What is the emergency? The minister should tell me, why do we need 100 TV stations in Ghana when there is available evidence that Ghana does not need it? As we speak right now, Ghana's media space in 2016 generated $196 million. $196 million. We have a population of 29 million people. We have 48 TV stations. When you go to South Africa, South Africa's TV space generated 1.05 billion, not million, 1.05 billion. South Africa has 57 million people. South Africa has 17 TV stations. So why are we going with 100 TV stations? The UK, look, the figures are there. I can give you countries and the amounts that they are TV. Kenya's TV industry made $1.96 billion in 2016. They have less than 30 stations for a population of over 30 million. So why are we going with 100 TV stations? Why do we need 100 TV stations? These are real issues we should be asking the minister.
Obviously,
only romance with China and Star Times.
Obviously, the minister has a lot of questions to answer. Thank you very much for joining us on News at 10. My name is Grace Hamasai. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're still watching News at 10 on TV3 and also live on DSTV channel 279. Let's do some other stories now. The Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kojo Osu-Efriye, has acknowledged the Youth in Forestry program is facing a myriad of challenges. Responding to concerns from the recruits at the Sakuma Ramsar site, Kojo Osu-Efriye said the commission is working assiduously to resolve the challenges.
Ghana's rate of deforestation is estimated to be one of the highest in the world after Togo and Nigeria. It is estimated at least up to 135,000 hectares of Ghana's forest cover is lost every year. Available records show that an estimated 60% of forest cover in Ghana was lost between 1950 and the present, which translates to about 2.7 million hectares of depleted forest. Experts say Ghana's forests will be totally depleted within the next 20 years if nothing is done to reverse the trend. These fears prompted the Forestry Commission to initiate the recruitment of some 15,000 youth across the country under a new service agreement with the Youth Employment Agency. More than 50,000 applicants were eventually recruited, according to the CEO, Kojo Osu-Efriye.
Which demonstrates that the young men and women of this country are desirous of getting some employment and that they just want to help themselves. And so when we said we're going to employ people, it was not a joke.
The recruits were to be trained and well-resourced to restore degraded forest land and Galamsey site within an initial 2-year contract. However, the program took off with a myriad of challenges. The recruits contend that most of the promises made to them have not been fulfilled.
Sometimes we have to go to an extent of contributing from our own pockets to cater for some of these logistics, namely watering cans and all those stuff. We have quicksands and very slippery banks. So usually people, there are occasions that one or two people fell and even twisted their arms.
The group again complained of challenges with their allowance and security.
We come here sometimes, we are under serious threat. The other time, we just need to speak Hausa and other languages, because if you don't express yourself in those languages, you are in trouble. There was a review in the allowances. What happened was we saw it on social media.
Very bad.
Before we were informed from the officers. It is not professional.
Yeah.
It can't be done anywhere.
Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Kojo Osu-Efriye, acknowledged there are challenges.
We commend them for the job that they are doing. But if they have challenges, and I believe that they do, we are going to ensure that the challenges are addressed. You don't send an army to war and tie their hands at their backs. We'll give them what it takes for them to work. They are doing a very good job.
He urged all to support the project since it is pivotal to the survival of degraded forest cover and the future of the entire nation.
Let's go to the Brong-Ahafo region, where calls for the establishment of a military post at Sankore in the region has heightened following disturbances in the area. Chiefs and opinion leaders in the Sunafo North and South districts of Sankore say this will curb recurrence of politically motivated violence in the area.
The chiefs raised the issue at a meeting held to deliberate on the violent incident which occurred at the Bono-Ahafo regional celebration of International Press Day anniversary that took place at Sankore. The paramountcies of Guaso, Kukwom and Kwapon were all represented at the meeting. The World Peace Day event was instituted to constantly remind mankind the world over on the need to treasure and uphold peace as a prerequisite for development and progress. The event was therefore scheduled at Sankore, which has been the hotbed of socio-political violence since 1992, to conscientize the people on the need to maintain peace for their socio-economic development. Commenting on the violent episodes, the chief of Sankore, Nana Ojedum Apia-Kubi, said prior to the onset of the Fourth Republic in 1992, Sankore used to be a vibrant town for its agricultural activities like cocoa cultivation, oil palm production, and timber lumbering, among others. Today, he said Sankore is a ghost town as all economic activities have ceased and replaced with protracted violence and misery. The chief stressed that government of the day has the machinery to arrest the violent incident, the failure of which will smack of political complicity and will leave them with no choice but to arm themselves in readiness for self-defense.
This town has become tagged with violence. It is no longer safe. It is now becoming embarrassing. Youth from Sankore find it difficult to get jobs from the negative tag. It is high time we find lasting solution to end the upsurge of violence in the town.
The Sunyani Municipal Chief Executive, Evelyn Ama Richardson, who represented the Bono Afro Regional Minister at the meeting, could not hide her motherly tears when she contributed at the meeting.
We want lasting peace to prevail in Sankore. Traditional leaders and all other key stakeholders have intervened in this issue. Let us forget about the past and forge ahead in unity. The people of Brong Ahafo need peace.
After the meeting, the chief joined the crowd that had been waiting for hours to be addressed about the day's event. The Bono Afro Regional Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, Swala Abdullah Kwanda, shared the Peace Day message with the public. At the time of filing this report, the police in Gwaso have confirmed the arrest of 2 persons that triggered the violence at the Peace Day celebration. They are Amos Asari, aka Anointing, who was seen wielding the cutlass, and his accomplice, known only as Isaac. The police say the 2 are hardened criminals noted for series of robbery and rape cases.
Residents of Akpafu, Odomi and environs have now resorted to volunteering their time to fill craters on the Hohoe-Jasikan section of the Eastern Corridor Road to make it more accessible. Led by the assemblyman for the area, John Obimpe, the people gathered stones and concrete to strengthen the road surface for easy passage while assisting the push vehicles stuck in the mud.
An amateur video last week showed how commuters on the Hohoe-Jasikan stretch of the Eastern Corridor Road were stranded following a downpour on Thursday. The floodwaters left behind deep craters here at Mimpasam Junction, which continue to deny commuters access. And this is what drivers go through daily in an attempt to access either side of the road here at Mimpasam Junction. Residents here say they are almost cut off from the rest of the communities.
For example, if somebody is sick in the night, you don't get vehicle to convey the fellow to hospital at Hohoe, even a pregnant woman. So there's a lot of implication involved. We have been cut totally from Ghana because we can't cross to Hohoe before proceed to Accra.
The development prompted the assemblyman for the Akpafu Odomi electoral area, John Obimpe, to mobilize the people for a self-help initiative. They began collecting stones and concrete to fill the craters, which they nicknamed One Village, One Dam, in a bid to make the area partially accessible.
We have applied several times to the president, but they are not minding us. That's why we ourselves as communal labor, we mobilize ourselves so that we can do the letter. So it's a communal labor that we are doing so that our vehicles can apply.
They were again on hand to assist vehicles which were prevented from crossing over to either side. The resident appealed to government to get the contractor back on site to complete the project.
That's it for this edition. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Grace Hamwasari. Good evening.